15 upcoming games that look so good they will likely bomb. This rundown aims to celebrate ambition, as all the games featured here look incredible and incorporate unique or intriguing gameplay mechanics or spellbinding art design. Thing is, sometimes heaps of ambition are a game's undoing. So with a heavy heart, the games on this rundown, whilst showing promise, unfortunately come with a dose of skepticism too. Neo Berlin 2087. Neo Berlin 2087 is a deeply cinematic third and first person action RPG detective thriller coming from Elysium Game Studio. Taking place in a dystopian Berlin, Neo Berlin 2087 tasks players with solving a far-reaching conspiracy on an emotional journey kickstarted by the murder of the head of police. Observe the game's pre-alpha gameplay trailer and it's clear the team at Elysium look to be putting Unreal Engine 5's photorealistic visuals to good use. But with shoddy frame rates and lumbering animations, it seems Neo Berlin 2087 still has a long way to go before it becomes the finished article. Project Awakening. High fantasy action RPG Project Awakening has been in something of a development abyss for a few years now, having first been announced for PS4 in 2016. Despite its 3 years or so age, Project Awakening's cinematic trailer, whereby a knight appointed by a mysterious organization battles a huge, scaly dragon-type creature, still looks impressive today, even though technology has moved on drastically since then. However, very little has come from developer Psy Games in the years since, and by now, in 2023, it's likely Project Awakening's focus on Sony's last generation console is out of date. So if this game's still in the pipeline, we've likely a little longer to wait for more news. Project Ryu. A game as visually detailed as Project Ryu being developed by a team of just 6 immediately raises a red flag. Games of this ilk always tend to look incredible, show heaps of promise, but never materialize for one reason or another. This one, said to be an RPG set in modern-day South Korea, looks incredible. The fidelity of the Seoul cityscape is so impressive that the clearly unfinished character animations look primitive and cartoony in comparison. Nobody's Left. Speaking of skeletal development teams, Nobody's Left, remarkably, is largely the work of one talented individual. That is, development, direction, music, and sound design is being handled by a sole developer. Here's hoping this one doesn't take years to produce, as from what we've seen so far, Nobody's Left looks great. In the game, you'll assume command of a morally ambiguous bounty hunter embroiled in a conflict between two warring factions, with survival and stealth mechanics sitting alongside its action-focused gameplay. This time last year, Nobody's Left was targeting a late 2022, early 2023 release window, and whilst this hasn't come to fruition, a new teaser for the game was released this February. Ill. Once known as Project Ill, now just Ill, this upcoming first-person survival horror has a couple of brief gameplay reveals to its name, but that's it. No Steam page, no website, nothing. It's a mysterious little endeavor by brother duo developer Team Clout, which looks to pit players against savage monstrosities in tight, dimly lit corridors with nothing but a flimsy pistol for company. All the survival horror ingredients are there, and the two gameplay reveals certainly look impressive, so fingers crossed we get some more info on this one soon. Project TH. Another ultra-realistic, big-budget action extravaganza coming out of South Korea, Project TH is a story-driven, action stealth title that's equal parts Splinter Cell Blacklist and Tom Clancy's The Division. Cynicism always clouds games like this. Far too many cinematic, pre-rendered gameplay trailers get released for games which never see the light of day. However, Project TH developer EVR Studio aren't a faceless corporation. They're already well established in South Korea. They're active on socials and YouTube too, and seem to be promoting the game, so we might get to play this one sooner than we think. Echoes of the End. Said to be an ambitious fantasy action-adventure from Mirror Games, Echoes of the End was first announced in summer 2021, with an official trailer with cinematics and gameplay following in spring 2022. The game looks promising, with standout performance capture adding an unparalleled sense of realism to proceedings. There is cause for skepticism with this one though, as Mycure Games' website still states story and gameplay details are to be revealed, almost a full 2 years after the game's first announcement. Quantum Error. Accompanying Quantum Error's official PS5 teaser trailer is the usual disclaimer. The game is unfinished, visuals subject to change, and so on. However, unlike some of the other games on this rundown, Quantum Error already looks hugely accomplished, and to be honest, well on the way to becoming a fully fledged playable game. It's a cosmic horror FPS where you'll play as a captain of a Californian fire department sent on a rescue mission to a mysterious offshore research facility. Things swiftly turn awry, with intergalactic survival hinging on the strength of a firefighter's axe. Quantum Error looks great. Let's hope it's not too good to be true. The Bird That Drinks Tears / Project WINDLESS. Currently known as Project WINDLESS, this upcoming but currently unannounced game will be based on Korean fantasy novel series The Bird That Drinks Tears. There isn't much to go off regarding this project's gameplay, but a proof of concept trailer dubbed The Naga Eater was released in September 2022 that's well worth a watch. Held in high regard in South Korea, The Bird That Drinks Tears presents a visceral world which casts typical fantasy archetypes in atypical, nightmarish, violent narratives. So, plenty of scope to craft an absorbing gaming experience. Witches of the New World. Described as an action horror with elements drawn straight out of the Dark Souls playbook, Witches of the New World cast players deep inside the height of a witch-hunting craze in 17th century Salem. Assuming command of an English witchfinder sent to investigate the strange conflict occurring in colonial America, players will come face to face with hordes of phantasmagorical monstrosities in Witches of the New World. Currently slated for release in 2025, there's still a way to go before we'll get our hands on Witches of the New World, so here's hoping development runs smoothly. Night Crows. This ginormous medieval MMORPG is coming from Korean developer Maddengein, who've previously found success with MMOs V4, Hit, and Overhit, although these titles failed to establish a following in the West. With its large-scale battles consisting of up to 1,000 players, each with characters created from 16 unique classes, it is hoped Night Crows will find a foothold outside of Korea, but it may just prove too ambitious to be coherent to Western audiences. Project E. Korean developer NCSoft has a roster of 5 upcoming games, with Eastern Medieval Odyssey Project E the pick of the bunch. Officially teased in February 2022 with a glorious cinematic trailer, Project E looks to possess a deep story taking place within an intricate, fully realized dark fantasy landscape. If there's cause for concern though, it's in NCSoft's determination to cater to too many disparate audiences with its current 5-game development pipeline. BLIGHT Survival. A violent medieval battler set in an alternate 14th century, BLIGHT Survival's gameplay video, as featured on its Steam page, showcases bloody, brutal swordplay against ravaging zombie-type enemies, plus looting and stealth mechanics. A cooperative experience of up to 4 players, BLIGHT Survival requires players investigate the Blight, a deadly plague afflicting a war-ravaged land in Purgatory. Another tiny, fledgling development team on this rundown, let's wish them well in development of this promising title. Repo Man. In Repo Man, you'll assume the role of a debt collector tasked with tracking down debtors, reclaiming assets, striking deals, and generally being an all-around deceptive, seductive, intelligent detective who unravels mysteries and conspiracies whilst dabbling in the occult. Set in the Art Nouveau city San Alma, itself a crumbling neon ruin akin to Bioshock's Rapture, Repo Man seems a quirky, intriguing RPG, and one with enough uniqueness to be a real standout should developer Akara Studios blend all its elements correctly. Pioneer. An expansive action MMORPG where survival and exploration within a dangerous PvE and PvP world is the goal, Pioneer is an apocalyptic FPS in the same vein as Metro Exodus, Escape from Tarkov, or Stalker. With admittedly supreme looking gunplay against a host of zombified enemies and mutant creatures, plus other players each with guns and abilities of their own, is it possible this small team at GFA Games are biting off more they can chew? Only time will tell.
That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Bolt.